Smash that limiter!
Go on, do it.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Well, last night, you're probably wondering why. Hey, Nancy, thanks for coming and
Hello,
say hello.
Nancy.
So last night was pretty funny, Spliffy. I was the only sober one, so yeah, that's why the title is the good old South Park saying drugs are bad, MK. It's just not good for you, MK. We didn't take any drugs last night, so don't worry. It's just part of the joke. Everyone was drunk but me last night.
Which is a bit odd twist because it's usually the other way around.
Usually I'm the one that's getting shit-faced, but I didn't last night, and the reason why is because I have kind of stopped drinking. The reason why I have stopped drinking is because it just makes me feel shit. So I've kind of just stopped drinking.
Well, you're not meant to drink the entire bottle in one night.
I think that's why I don't react very well to alcohol anymore, is because I used to drink bottles of alcohol in a night. I used to be pretty bad. We've been streaming for quite a while now.
Oh, yeah, a few months.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is episode 25, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, so 25 episodes, and we stream roughly 2 episodes a week. So yeah, been doing it for a while.
When did we start? Like June?
Something
June,
like that.
July?
Yeah, it was like mid-year. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So back to what I was saying. I used to drink really heavily, and I think as a result, my tolerance to alcohol has gone. The weird thing about it, though, is I don't get drunk, so I can finish a bottle off and be tipsy but not hammered.
Yeah, so
it's really weird. But I feel
you drink a bottle of alcohol, you get all the bad stuff, but you don't get all like the good stuff. You don't get drunk, but you wake up the next morning with a hangover.
Yeah, that's it.
Why don't you do any upgrades to the channel? Probably incompetence. I wouldn't know how to do that.
We haven't bothered to do it because we're still really small. When we start getting to the affiliated section, then we might do it. This channel, you don't need it. Like, this is a podcast. You come and chill. You just watch. This isn't like a regular stream like my other channel is. I have another channel which every now and then, once in a blue moon, I'll stream games or something like that. Or like, our other streamer friends, they got the full swing, all the banners and the donations and all that sort of stuff. We're not about that. We're here for talking
about that later, but not right now.
Yeah, we're just here to have a chat, talk about things, share information that Spliffy and I know. We're of 2 different lights of life.
We're from 2 completely different disciplines entirely.
Yeah. So he's more like, well, explain it yourself what your expertise is for those coming in. Yeah.
My expertise is audio and a bit of AV. Yeah, mostly audio and music.
My expertise is automotive, tech, and I am also very, very educated in biology and animal science and zoology and basically scientist. Pretty much. Well, yeah, I was trained to be one. I have not been doing it in a very long time, but I still remember.
I'm telling you, just go ahead and do it. You don't need to wait for somebody permission. You don't need to wait permission to live your life.
I have actually kind of, as a little hobby, I've always wanted to write the language of the magpies.
Well, then do it. What's stopping you? Do it.
It's laziness. No, because I've always every morning I wake up and I listen to, because we got quite a few families of magpies around our area. And I listen to them talk to each other in the morning. Around 5 o'clock in the morning, you will hear them talking to each other. And I just want to record all their information and then record their interactions and work out what their calls mean and how they react to them. Of course, I don't want to put human meaning to it, but yeah. No, sorry, Nancy, we're not interested in that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we'll work
Yeah.
on that at our own pace.
Yeah.
We're just very slow at this.
And we do have people that will
Well,
help us out.
we do
Yeah,
appreciate the
yeah.
offer, though.
Yeah, we do have people that will help us out with that sort of stuff for free too. So we just haven't
Well,
bothered.
it's not about the price or anything like that. It's just like when we're ready.
Yeah, yeah. It's not necessary at this present time. Anyway, so yeah, I like watch these magpies and whatnot every morning interact with each other. They do so like have you ever actually watched the morning routine of a magpie?
No, I can't say I have. No, it's all good, Nancy.
It's all good.
It's all
so
chill.
good. So magpies are an Australian bird. They're black and white. During spring, they swoop people and attack you.
I actually got swooped like a couple of times the other day or last week.
Really?
No, last week one. Yeah,
Did you?
it wasn't bad.
Did you hear that? Woof woof woof.
Yeah. Only because I was on the I was on the perimeter of this magpie's territory, and I forget every year. Every year I go out for a walk and I get swooped by this particular magpie because I'm just about to enter their territory, and I'm on the perimeter of their territory, and I realize like, oh shit, it's that time of year again, is it? All right, I'm gonna go home. I'm just gonna walk somewhere else, I guess. So. It doesn't last very long, but it's just like, oh, fine, whatever.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so the morning routine, right, is they wake up. When they wake up in the morning, they roost, they start calling.
Mm-hmm.
And then about, I'd say when the sun's pretty much up and there's light in the morning, you'll see them in a spot, in the same fucking spot, in the same time, every morning, having a corroboree. So the whole family will be literally in a circle, usually in the middle of the road for some reason. And they just sit there talking to each other for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then they fly out and go their separate ways across their territory. They do that every morning. And then in the afternoon, before they go to bed, they do the exact same thing. They come together, they have a corroboree, and then they fucking go to the roost to sleep overnight. It's fucking like they're so smart animals, man. It astonishes me, like watching their social skills and stuff like that. And I've always wanted to sort of know what are they talking about in these corroborees. Like, what are the? It's like a meeting. It's like a game plan. This is what we're going to do today. It's interesting. And then they come together in the afternoon. And like, there's certain calls that I know that they call out when they want everybody in the mob to like come together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like a high-pitched alarm call, and then you'll see the whole family will immediately ascend on that one location. So, yeah, it's interesting. They're fascinating animals. What a tangent that was. So, to go back to last night, Spliffy, what happened last night? Please give the audience a little rundown.
I ate 24 sausage rolls and drank 7 beers and got absolutely smashed. If I had one more beer, I would have thrown up. I've learned that from the past.
Because you're a pretty big lightweight, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm very much a lightweight.
Yeah. Which is good because it means you're cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't spend a lot of money on alcohol because I don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. It's good.
Yeah.
And then we tried playing Outlast Trials.
Oh, that did not end well. That did not end well. I had no idea what the hell was going on.
How fucking hard was that first trial that we did?
Oh yeah, it was really tough.
That was really, really hard. And then we played it while you guys were incredibly impaired.
Yeah.
So it was just Brownie and myself, pretty much the only sober ones. And like, I died within 3 minutes of starting. And what happened was I was with Ray and there was Electro Man. Like he was coming in behind. He was coming through the door. Then there was that what the fuck? Sorry, the internet just spiked. Am I lagging? Am I lagging a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone's downloading shit. It doesn't work.
Oh.
Australian internet.
Oh.
Anyway, so back to what I was saying. Yeah, I'm getting like 1,000 kilobytes per second fucking bandwidth issue. Drops frames 13,000. Jesus Christ. I'm losing frames by the second. Anyway, so there was Electro Man coming through the door. Ray was in front of me and she was heading towards Electro Man. But we were being chased by someone else. And what happened is I have the stun ability, so like I throw something at them and it like blinds them and shit. And
yeah, I have the same ability.
I had it ready to fucking go. Ray walks out in front of me and pushes me because I was blocking the door. When I wasn't, I was trying to fucking get Electro Man so we could run past him. And so she bumps me, and so I fucking throw it as she bumps me, and I miss completely, hit the door frame, and then I get killed by the person that Ray was running from, and then Electro Man executes me. I'm like, she killed me, and then she goes and has a go at me for blocking the door.
She's done the same thing to me with Phasmo. I remember.
I remember
we were playing Phasmo. She closes the door on me. I'm thinking, thanks, Ray.
If you had patience, I would have been able to stun Electro Man. Then we would have both been able to run in the same direction, in that direction, to get away with it. But no. But yeah, we all died, and then Brownie was just running in circles, hiding for a while. I remember getting up, and pouring myself a drink, and then I came back, and the game was over. How did it end?
I think we all died.
Yeah, but did Brownie just give up and just end up like getting herself
I don't
killed?
remember. Why are you asking me? I don't remember.
I don't know. You couldn't even when we were playing. So there's people who've never played Outlast Trials. So Outlast Trials is basically like a multiplayer game that is it's in the same universe as Outlast. And Outlast is like this game. So the first one, you're like a detective, like an investigator reporter, and you're
a journalist. I'm pretty sure.
Well, investigator reporter is the same thing as a journalist, but you're basically breaking and entering into an asylum, and in this asylum, there's a lot of like crazy people that are like mutated and really fucked up. And you can't hurt anyone. You can flee and you can hide in cupboards and under drawers and stuff. You can't. But you got to basically try and gather all the information, find out what's going on, and then you got to escape the asylum essentially with all these
and survive.
These crazy people hunting to kill you, and you can't defend yourself. And then Outlast 2 is the exact same principles but a different scenario. I don't even remember the story of Outlast 2 actually. I've played it, but I don't remember any of it. Mustn't have been that memorable. And then Outlast Trials is just a multiplayer version where basically you're a homeless druggie, and this is where the drugs are bad comes into the title.
I wonder where that was coming from.
So you're a druggie on the streets, and you get given this pamphlet, "We want you," from like some weird cult, and basically it's like, are you a pathetic piece of shit that wants to turn your life around? And it's like, that's me.
It's straight to the point. I really appreciate it.
You're a homeless guy that's a drug fuck loser. So you're like, I want to turn my life around. Let's join this cult. And so you join this cult, and they like put a bag on your head, throw you in a back of a van, take you to this really dodgy place with this really dodgy, I don't even think he's a doctor. He looks more like a butcher. And there's a body in a chair in front of you, like someone's dead. And they've got this night vision goggles attached to his head. And then they unscrew it. So it turns out these night vision goggles are screwed into your fucking skull. And then they unscrew it, and then they screw them into you. And then they torture the shit out of you too and really fuck you up. Then they throw you into the first test, where they basically make you destroy all the files of your life and everything like that. And then you have to survive and escape the first test. And once you do that, then basically you're inducted into this cult's fucking facility where they run you through a whole heap of like really fucked up scenarios. that you have to survive, and they have their workers, which are like really demented people, and their objective is to like test you and to kill you and attack you and shit like that if they see you. So they're essentially like taking homeless druggies, sobering them up by force, messing them up. G'day, how's it going? Messing them
Hello.
up, and then
Hello.
basically making you do all these trials and stuff like that.
We're doing really well, Grace Emily. How are you this morning?
Yes, hello. How are you?
How's your morning been, or afternoon, or day?
Depending
doing
on
much?
Yeah, depending.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's
Let's
essentially
continue
the
talking about Outlast Trials. We're talking about Outlast Trials. Actually, we're talking about the introductory of it and how crazy the universe is.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Because I wonder, like, when you escape, right? Because at the end you leave the common room and you graduate. Do you reckon you just become staff and you become like one of the messed up people that train the next people, or do you reckon they like use them for terrorism and like has soldiers and things? You're welcome.
I really don't know. They have these things called freedom points, and you need 10 freedom points to escape, and I don't even know how to get a singular freedom point. So we stream most often Wednesday and Sunday, but we've had a little bit of an adjustment this week due to life circumstances. You can come and check out our streams on what is it, 8:30 p.m. AE Australian Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, and then 10:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Sunday is normally when we stream.
Wait. Just Grace Emily, if I get the feeling you're gonna be posting some pushing some ideas on how to change our channel and etc. like Nancy was. Yeah.
AEDT. Yeah, well, like
Yeah. If you're going to try and push that, just want to let you know that we're happy with the way things are at the moment, and we really don't. We appreciate the offers and stuff like that, but we really don't need the help if you're going down that route. It's just the wording is like what Nancy's posted before, where asking about all that stuff. But if you're just curious in general, that's cool. But I just want to get that out of the way so you're not wasting your time, essentially. Yeah. So, what other games are you looking forward to? Because at the moment, there's nothing in the future.
No, I'm not really interested in any video games right now.
Yeah, neither am I. I want the next Forza Horizon to be decent because the last one really sucked.
I don't even know if I'll bother buying it because I just feel like it's like, it's kind of like Forza games are sort of turning into like, if anyone in chat agrees, Forza, the Forza game series is kind of turning into a FIFA sort of situation.
Yep.
Where it's just like the same game, but with a different number just plopped on it.
And then
I'm actually feeling really good today. Thanks, Ray. I had a greasy breakfast, so that helped. And I actually didn't get hungover at all. Would you believe?
Did you get Macca's, HJ's?
No. I had bacon and eggs on a sandwich.
Yum. Fuck yeah, that's the best, man. You should when you come visit, you got to try Ray's bloody. So Ray likes to cook bacon and eggs on toast with runny eggs, and then every now and then she'll get the peri peri hot sauce, and then add a little dab on that one. Oh, it's so good, man! You gotta try it. Should just cook it at home, but yeah, it's good. No, right. It's very yummy, bacon and eggs. My mum cooks amazing bacon and eggs. Way too much, but she cooks pretty good. She has like a seasoning and stuff like that she puts on the eggs. I don't know what it is. It's like cloves and lots of different things. It's pretty good. But yeah, I I don't know what's going on with the future of gaming because Angry Joe is 100% dead on with Starfield. That was a flop.
Yeah, I couldn't get into. I mean, you know how I feel about
Yeah.
those sorts of games. Like, it's just like if there's too much to do, I just won't want to do it because it's like, well, I can do anything, and therefore I'll do nothing. I get choice paralysis really badly.
Yeah. Listen. I'm still trying to play it. And the only reason why I'm trying to play it because next to Star Wars, Jedi Survivor, I haven't really got any new games that I'm playing on the Xbox. Now I play these games on Xbox. I don't play on PC because my PC would melt if it tried. So I got a lot of Xbox games I play every now and then, and I play the Xbox quite heavily. But yeah, I just struggle, man, because like it's not interesting at all. It's not like Skyrim where the missions are interesting and the choices in Skyrim are a lot more linear, which I agree with you. They are right, but the problem with Starfield is I like having choice, but the problem is with the choices you make have literally no repercussions. Like at least in
Oh, really?
Skyrim, yeah, they don't. There's no repercussions whatsoever.
Oh, that's funny. So
So,
you
like,
just do whatever and
you can
then
do
just get the
whatever
same ending.
Exactly. It's fucking
Oh, that's
it's
funny.
bullshit. So like, and the one thing that really pisses me off in the game is you can't be a bad guy. And it like really pisses me off. It's like I want to be a pirate. I want to go around killing people, but I can't because you can't like really. It's not that you can't progress. It's just everyone fucking is a dick to you, and so like you just can't really play the pirate because even people that are pirates are dicks to you because you're a pirate. So, like, if I go and make a bad decision in front of a pirate, they'll like go, "Why would you do that?" It's like, yeah, I stole from a person, and now all of a sudden they hate me and have a bounty on my head for the pirates. It's like, really? And like, and when you side with the Crimson Raiders, which honestly is the best choice, and the reason why it's the best choice to side with the Crimson Raiders,
why is that?
is because most missions you do end up going to a Crimson Raider base of some sort. So if you side with the Crimson Raiders, you can just do missions so much easily because instead of having to fight people and fight tooth and nail and just get really annoyed because the AIs are dumb. You just walk into base and just grab your artifact and walk out. It's like so much easier. And then when you go to Game Plus and Game Plus Plus and Game Plus 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 and etc.
Yeah.
Everything resets. So you basically go from a new universe to another. And everything you've done is just fucking out the window anyway. So there's no consequences in the game at all. And your teammates are fucking useless. So yeah, it fell short. It's so for the technology that we have today, I don't know why Bethesda fucking did what they did. For example, that planet that you can land on, yeah, you can land on like every single. Yeah, basically that's it. Yeah.
You line a dialogue from the main character's story basically saying they're pissed at you and then take a small hit or 2 friendship points and that's it. Well, my god, it sounds like primary school.
Yeah. And
I don't like you as much anymore. We're not as much good friends.
Yeah. And if you max out your persuasion, you can get back in the good books by like persuading him to like you again. It's so fucking
oh my god.
It's so stupid.
Literally...
Like, I remember like I pissed off fucking what's that bitch's name? She's an actual fucking cow. I can't stand the character.
I don't know. I'm not going to play Starfield.
Sarah. I think it's Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Ray.
I got a bounty on me for no reason. And there's a glitch in the game where you can just get bounties for no reason. Like, you haven't stolen anything. You haven't done anything wrong. You haven't hurt anyone. You've done nothing wrong. You just get a bounty for no reason. And I got a bounty in the Freestar Collector for some stupid reason. It was like $100
Yeah.
bounty. Couldn't even
Oh,
fucking
wow.
pay the bounty off. And then so I go to jail and I lose all my fucking stolen goods that I did steal. But no
Yeah.
one knew I did it because I was under the map when I was doing it.
Yeah,
I was
that's
doing
really
the white
weird.
run
Like
as
how
well.
it's like, oh, you must have stolen that. Like you didn't even see me steal it. How would you know? No, it's
The
mine.
bounty wasn't for stolen. The bounty, it didn't say what the bounty was for. It just said unknown.
What?
I was
That's dumb.
like,
That just sounds like taxes.
because like I was talking to the prison guard, the ranger, and he was like, "You have a bounty on your head." I'm like, "What for?" And he goes, "It says here unknown reasons." What? What the fuck? And then so I had to pay $100. I lose all my contraband. Not my contraband, my stolen goods, which is mainly ammunition and materials. Because what I've been doing is I've been doing the glitch where you get underneath Atlantis, and you steal all the money and goods from the vendors. And so I've been doing that for a while. That's how I've been like getting money. Because getting money in the game is stupid. I fucking hate it. You either have to farm ridiculous amount and then spend hours fucking waiting for 48 hours of universal time so they'll reset for, because each vendor has only a small amount of fucking money. And so yeah, you have to make money in the game. You have to spend hours because dumb fucks at Bethesda's can't think, why don't they just have an unlimited money supply in vendors? Just save the fucking F of grinding. I fucking hate it. Anyway, rant over.
Okay, so cue my rant. So it's sort of like a self-reflective rant as well, because I understand that as I have gotten older, I would happily admit that my standards of what I want in a video game has increased. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and they probably differ to yours and anyone in the chat room, in the sense that what I want out of a game is a compelling story with a lot of friction and frustration and resolution and resolve. That's what I want. I want sort of like, oh, you're about to get caught in the act of doing something really heinous. It's like, how am I going to fix this, or how am I going to get past that? That's what I want out of a story. By the sounds of it, Starfield seems like one of these, like, you've got a job, just go do it, and it just sounds really boring. There's no story behind it.
There's literally a mission storyline that I've done.
Yeah,
where you sign up to a company because apparently they're looking for workers.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, cool, this is a spaceship manufacturing company, so this would be really cool. It's like, oh, cool, sign up for them, right? So I get to fucking like build spaceships, or get to fucking like do some cargo running or something cool, right?
Yeah.
No, I literally stand there for fucking weeks on end at a production line taking defective components off the conveyor belt.
What?
Who the fuck?
That is,
how
much? Oh god, that
in
sounds
a storyline. That
terrible.
is so stupid. And then you overhear two people having a conversation. And then it turns out one person is corrupt. And then the boss comes up to you and goes, you seem like a dependable worker. I want you to investigate what's going on and get to the bottom of this. Now all of a sudden you, as a production line worker, is now in charge of an investigation on an internal company. Because, you know, that fucking happens in real life. Like, come on, get off that shit. At least
it's not even. Oh wow, it just sounds like really poor writing.
High on Life, right? You should seriously play High on Life. You would love it. It's so fucking fun. High on Life had a little bit of a mission like that, where you like go in as a worker and you like sort files, but it's fucking funny because like your boss is an asshole and is a depressive fuck and just says all sorts of shit, and then the other office workers just, there's dialogue to make your job interesting.
Yeah.
Starfield has nothing to offer. The game...
It's not clever, it's not witty, it's very dry and gross by the sounds of it.
The only good thing about Starfield is it is a pretty game. The bugs in it are not as game-breaking as other Bethesda titles in the past. However, it is completely void of life. The planet system is stupid because I worked out So you know how they're like there's invisible walls, so you can't go in one direction on the planet
Forever, right?
forever, right? You hit a invisible wall and you can't go any further, right? So say for example you land near a mountain, and the mountain's a couple of kilometers away, but outside of your invisible wall deadline, right? So like, I
Yeah.
want to go to that mountain. I want to explore it. So then you go to the map and you try, you know where you are, and you try and move and land closer to that mountain. Guess what? You do that, the mountain's gone. Because each individual invisible wall area that you got is a fucking seed like Minecraft.
Oh.
Yeah. So each landing site on the planet is a bloody seed, which is computerly generated.
Mm.
So if there's a mountain, so these two seeds are right next to each other. One has a mountain, and you fly to the next seed and go to the landing site. That mountain's gone because it's computer generated. Like, I don't understand that. They like in this day and age, with the technology in our consoles and our fucking computers, we can have planets fully explorable because No Man's Sky can fucking do it. If No Man's Sky can do it, so can you, Bethesda. I don't understand what the fucking problem is because you've already gone through and made the effort of making, using the engine to make these AI generated battlefield, like these planets. Like when you go onto the seed, it generates a terrain and all that sort of stuff. You can do that live. When you land on the planet, it will just render it in and then computer generate it. So as you keep walking, it keeps shaping the world, just like Minecraft, just like No Man's Sky. You know, like you don't have to go to the extent that Star Citizen did, where each and every planet is literally handcrafted. You don't have to go that extent, but you know, you could go the same extent as Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky. There's so many games that do it. Minecraft, you know, you can do it. The fact Elite Dangerous can do it says a lot too, because Elite Dangerous graphics rise is better, is more sharp than Bethesda's game, Starfield. Like the graphics on Elite Dangerous is way better with the update that they brought out. So, I mean, yeah, you can't get up and walk around in your spaceship in Elite Dangerous, but you can still get out of your spaceship and walk around your spaceship. You can walk for hours in one direction. You can get in a rover and just drive in one direction. You can explore the whole planet if you want to. I mean, I wouldn't, but you can. And you can't also, in space, you can't also fly indefinitely either. In space, there's an invisible wall you hit as well.
On that, actually, the question is about that. Like, how indefinite would you want to go before it just starts to get really boring? Like, you're just doing, it takes you, you know, you get off your day shift and you have to spend the entire afternoon in this video game getting from one planet to the other. Like that personally to me doesn't sound like a hell of a lot of fun.
No, it's not fun, and I have that problem with Elite Dangerous because, you know, this is where I like No Man's Sky is it like pretty much is instantaneous to go from one system to another. It doesn't take long at all. Where Elite Dangerous, it can take hours. But the thing is, Elite Dangerous is a space sim. It's designed to be realistic in the sense of like you are role playing as a space-bearing person. So that makes sense. Star Citizen does it better, I think, because it takes a while to go from one point A to point B, but you're talking minutes, not hours. So that's not a problem. And in that time period, things can go wrong. Like you can get up, you can eat, you can manage your inventory before the next jump. You can do lots of different things, which is like really actually handy in Star Citizen. But when it comes to like Elite Dangerous, it is very fucking tedious because I had to do 108 jumps in one area in Elite Dangerous. And it took me half a day.
Yes, you're like,
Fucking that was ridiculous.
did you?
I was getting annoyed with that. I'm like, I'd rather play fucking Flight Simulator and pretend to be a pilot, because at least that's more visually appealing. Yeah.
It's for me. Video, I mean, all sorts of media to me need to do one thing, and that's basically, I want to walk away from any sort of media, whether it be a book or a song or a video game. Is I want to walk away having learned something.
Yeah.
That to me is the ultimate goal with any sort of media, because what makes stories work is that you're supposed to learn something. You know, when we were all just cave people out in our little dens around a big bushfire, and we'll talk, and your uncle's talking about how he took on a tiger that day and how he survived, and then you're sitting there learning about, if I find myself in a situation with the tiger, I know how to get out of it because I've learned how to basically take care of myself in the event of taking on a tiger the same way that my uncle did. And that's ultimately what a story is supposed to do. And if your story doesn't do that, then you lack a proper, compelling story. And because your uncle, and in a weird, strange way, the what your uncle demands to be a good story isn't also how to take on tigers, because he already knows how to do that. So he wants to learn how to take on, I don't know, mountains and gods at that point. So it's all like all these stories is about learning something, whether it be in turn, like whether it be your ego or your super ego that you derive a meaning or learn something from. Your ego being your inner self, and then your super ego being everything outside of you and the world around you and how you interpret it. That's what stories are supposed to do, and I'm very particular about the way that stories are written, because I really actually do enjoy writing stories as well.
Yeah, I haven't been in a game that I've been so involved in the story in a long time. Because even Jedi Survivor, I'm not feeling it. Not feeling the story. That's why I haven't finished it.
Yeah, because you probably learnt all those problems. You probably learnt how to fix all those problems that they present to you.
Yeah, it's not that. It's more so the fact it's like pretty depressing. Like Cal's basically been fighting the Empire for this long, and he found out that he's not even like the Empire don't see him as a significant threat in any shape or form. He found out that basically he's done nothing. He's like,
that's actually kind of funny.
He's
That's kind of funny, actually.
Thousands and thousands of stormtroopers, and like destroyed spaceships, destroyed like retaken planets, and he's just like, yeah, I'm fucking excellent. And then he gets the map of the Empire's operations and finds out that he's killed and destroyed the places that the Empire takes people they don't care about and just dumps them there by themselves. The Inquisitors that are coming after him are the Inquisitors that Darth Vader himself doesn't give a shit about. Like, he's just so insignificant in the storyline. It's fucking hilarious. And I love it. Because he's such an interesting character himself. But like, yeah, it is a little bit depressing. But it's also hard because like these days I just don't have as much time as I used to,
Yeah,
so
for sure. Which is also like what
play.
increases your standards, because it's like, okay, it needs to be be
time?
zero fat, so you're not wasting any time after your shift at work. Because that's because if you start the more fat you introduce into your story, the less respect you're giving to your audience's time.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's really, really important to learn the skills of how to write very quick-witted friction with very quick-witted resolve.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and it's also hard because fucking game developers just don't give a fuck anymore either.
Well, I'd like to
care.
I want to go in a bit more positive route. I think it's not that they don't care. It's just that there isn't enough time to develop the games that they want to develop
Yeah.
because ultimately the market is what determines what's created. It's a demand a demand economy, shall we say?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
where you may have only, for example, like Call of Duty probably perfected this, I would say, where they had two studios creating one Call of Duty game every single year, and
Yeah.
then what happened is that it created this cycle of quickly develop a game, sell it quickly, of this endless cycle of just developing a game and just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what works.
Yeah.
And then what happened is that they found themselves with all the pieces of the puzzle working perfectly together, and they had no room for innovation, which is why it sort of became about a joke about 2014 or 15, where people were just saying like, "Oh, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 45, just like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 44 with a few extra pixels." It's like bit of a joke, of course, but it created this problem where it's like, okay, they don't really know how to actually, make it more compelling, and it
Yeah.
creates a problem of it's a perfect this perfect cycle down the drain, essentially.
Yeah, it's I also think that like a lot of developers also these days have too many um people involved as well. Because the problem is when you get corporate involved in a decision that has nothing to do with their world and they know nothing of it. They only know statistics and analytic data. They look at things like, I don't know, say Call of Duty, and they go, "Oh, this game here makes a lot of sales. So if we just sort of replicate that sort of style of game, then we're going to make profit." Well, it's like no.
Exactly.
The only reason why
And
COD makes that profit is because COD has been doing it for so long that it's kind of like it's known to do it, so it's expected. So people's expectations of COD is down here anyway. They're only in it for the multiplayer, and that's it. That anything else in the game they don't give a shit about. Where if you bring a new game and you try and copy COD, they're going to have high expectations of your game rather than COD. And then when you drop the bar this low, they're like, "Well, I've already got COD. Why the fuck would I want to play your game?"
exactly. And
Um,
that's the problem with
yeah,
that's the evidence of a mature market.
yeah,
And the crazy part about a mature market is that eventually the market drops off until it goes into failure. It's
yeah.
inevitable. Until you develop some sort of innovation, and that's what picks up the pieces, essentially, and puts it back together.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um
it's pretty crazy really.
and also mobile games are definitely to blame for that, because mobile games basically created the market of wasting time, essentially, and money. No, because
I'm
like,
surprised about that because I cannot stand mobile games. I'm surprised so many people play it.
yeah, no, neither can I. I don't understand it.
I
I
don't
can't. I
either.
don't like
No.
mobile games either.
Neither do I. I just do not like them. I haven't had a mobile game on any of my phones since Dragon Veil was massive
Hmm.
and Pokemon Go. I
Oh
think.
wow, that is a really long time ago.
So Dragon Veil is even older than Pokemon Go. Dragon Veil's like
Yeah,
you get a hope of dragons and you breed them together and you get like combinations and hybrids and then you get specials and stuff like that. So um, that's what I used to like really enjoy playing and whatnot. But nowadays, don't even fucking not even interested in any of it really. I'm more interested in um just playing PC and
just
Xbox. I just don't.
flying,
I just
just flying around in space.
yeah, like I'm a sim guy. Like I love milsims. Like me and Spliffy have played Armor 3. I play Armor 3. I've sunk so many hours in Armor 3. And like in Flight Simulator, I play lots of that. Although not anymore because they kind of broke it, and I just can't play it anymore. Um, and Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen, I've been wanting to play for ages, but my computer just so can't handle it. That's why I'm spending a ridiculous amount of money on building a PC. Is mainly so I can play Star Citizen because I really want to. Yeah, bad decisions on that one, but
Well,
I
not
don't care. Not
necessarily. I
really.
mean, if
I'm
the
going to
goal
enjoy
is to
it.
get enjoyment out of it, and that's perfectly reasonable.
See, the way I'm looking at it, Spliffy, is I am building myself a piece of art.
To get poetic with it, I guess.
Well, yeah, because I'm going to be staring at this fucking thing all day for years to come. And I want it to be mine. I want it to be unique. I want it to be my creation. And so this PC that I'm building is going to be my creation. I'm going to do things that people normally don't do. For example, I've after today, 100% going full AMD. 100% going full AMD. I've been on the fence for so long. The viewers who just tuning in, people that have been watching, know that I've been on the fence of like, do I go Intel CPU, do I go NVIDIA GPU, blah 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 blah. But after today, going over the statistics of the performance, because what's holding me back? What was holding me back with AM5 was the RAM stability, because you can only have 2 sticks of RAM on AM5 platforms to have a stable system. You can go dual, but you can't run XMP. And generally, people found that 6,000 megahertz is probably the real stable sort of speeds of RAM. So you can't go up to 7,000 on an AM5. You just can't.
Well, not yet. It might just take a little bit of time to working out. It's kind of like audio and jitter.
The current motherboards and the 7,000 series CPUs, you cannot. I don't know what it is. I think it's not necessarily the CPU. I think it's actually a motherboard issue. I'm not too sure what's going on with that, but they are going to fix it with the new 8,000 series GPU. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have a decent enough motherboard. Decent in terms of stability. I want a stable motherboard that can handle the future.
Handle the future.
The future.
This is Jesus incarnate in the form of a computer. It'll handle the future.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a decent motherboard that can handle the RAM speeds like up to 7,000. I won't buy a 7,000 stick, but up to 7,000. There's a reason for this, and I'll explain. So I'd buy a motherboard that can handle that sort of RAM speeds. I need lots of USB ports because I run so much fucking shit off my computer. It's ridiculous. And multiple SSD drives would be handy, but it's not necessary. But usually when you buy into the X range of motherboards, you get that anyway. It's just a trade-off. So I'm going to get that type of motherboard. I'm going to go cheap on the CPU because I'm going to upgrade in the future to probably the 8,000 series when it comes out. So it will get me by, essentially, is what I'm getting at. But I'm going to go AMD GPU to 79XTX because the last stats came out with a guy that's really into content creation benchmarks, which is excellent for me because I obviously edit and record videos and play around with all that sort of stuff. I game heavily as well. So I need a computer that can do both really well. Usually if your computer can edit really well, it can game really well. Because usually like a gaming CPU is like an i5 or a Ryzen 5 or a Ryzen 7 is when you start getting into the production side of things of being able to do production well. So I'm just going to go Ryzen 7 CPU paired with an X series motherboard. So I have the availability of USBs and whatnot. Then I'm going to pair it with an X79XTX Sapphire Nitro GPU because the 79XTX is beating the 4090 at video editing. What the fuck?
I mean,
what? Like, this time last year, 79XTX couldn't even fucking run VR. Like, this just goes to show.
Sounds like it's optimizing the drivers for it, which is great.
This is what I love about AMD. You guys can fucking knock AMD as much as you want, but they try really hard. And this is why I like them in what they do is, yeah, they'll bring something out and they'll like, at first it'll be really rocky, but they develop and continue developing until like, for example, the 69 series or the 6000 series of GPUs are so fucking strong now because they've had years and years of improvements and development in the software side of things that now the 69s are on par with the 40 series fucking graphics cards, or if not better. And you know, this car's a lot older, and it surprises me. And the 79 XTX, although it won't beat a 4090 in gaming, but video editing, when supposedly the stigma with AMD graphics card as a video codecs is shit. And I've been told time and time again, people, oh, the video codecs is shit, the video encoder is not good, the software is shit, blah, 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 blah. But yet this guy who I trust went and did a whole heap of stats in video editing and production level stuff with AMD, has found that video editing itself, the video encoder is better and more efficient than NVIDIA's. So the scores that it's getting on video editing on Adobe Premiere is higher than a 4090 RTX, which baffles me. It just amazes me at how far it's come. So that was what was holding me back from going AMD. But after seeing a consistent amount of these reports going out that actually, no, that's not true. It is doing actually really well, if not better than a 4090. Then I'm like, well, money per value, you know, it's like, how much cheaper is it? It's what you can get a 79 XTX for 1,500, and you can get a 4090 for over 3,000. That's a lot of money difference between those two. And then you've got
in
the
Australian dollars.
Yeah, and then you got the 4080, which is over $2,000, which is its direct competitor. It's like, it's a no-brainer to go 79 XTX for cost per value. It's just a better card per value. Ignore DLSS 3 and ignore ray tracing because you don't need it. You really don't. Your game's going to look gorgeous without it. Frame rate thing for DLSS 3, you could argue that, but also I think its own its own upscaling frame system that it has, it's enough to get you through. It's not going to like... It's not going to be a negative, put it that way. It's still going to be way better than the other cards. So it's still an improvement. And if you're coming from me with a fucking 1060, it's going to be a huge jump. So to me, it's going to be great. So that's why I'm going with AMD, because I can upgrade an AMD motherboard to the future. Keep the same RAM, keep the same motherboard, keep the same GPU, power supply, all that. Keep it all the same. And all I do is just change out the CPU and upgrade that way. And then later on, I could even say the motherboard that I buy I don't like because it can't perform as well as it promises. And then I could keep the CPU and upgrade the motherboard, and that's the only thing I upgrade. So that's why I like AMD. I don't like Intel. I think Intel's way too expensive for what they're charging. I think the whole I have 16 cores thing is... it's true, but it's just a marketing thing. Because the fact that, like, you know, AMD's keeping pace with it with less cores just goes to show that E's and P cores aren't... They're a little bit of an edge, but they're not like enough to be that significant, I don't think. So it's just, yeah, it's... you gotta really just sort of take what everyone says with a grain of salt, because a lot of things is fanboyism, and just look at the raw data and just focus on that and think about use case scenario for you as a person, not the mob as a whole. And don't always go with computers, hey Spliffy, and be like, oh, their computer does really well at this, and then you get the exact same build and go, how come mine doesn't perform the same? Unfortunately, the Spliffy can tell you not every single computer is going to be the same because of variations in manufacturing. Isn't that right, Spliffy?
Correct.
Because everything is different. So yeah, just something I found interesting, because you're wanting to go AMD as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I think my next build in a few years' time will be full AMD because I'm more interested in I mean, like, my computer now is still pretty workhorsey. I've got no problems with it. I can do anything I need with it. The question is, like, can I do more? Is it possible for me to do more? I'd like to do more. I would really like to do more. And then, and I think I will do more. But that'll be for a later date.
Because that's the thing with me. I would love to be able to multi-layer video edit, but I can't with this computer.
Well, yeah, because yours literally is about to explode.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny. Honestly, to me, it really is really funny that your computer is actually even still working.
If I wasn't tech savvy and understand how hardware works, it probably would have died a while ago. You know, and that's like, it also goes to show that you don't need to upgrade every fucking year to keep current as well. Like, there is titles that I can't play. And you're always going to get that with aging computers. But I can still keep up. Like, I can play 80% of the games you and Ray can play. Yes, I have to have them minimal settings, but I can still play them. And I still have high enough frames that it's playable.
Yeah.
But my older Asus laptop, right? I had that for years. The hinge in the screen was broken, so it was permanently always open. I mean, this thing pretty much is permanently always open as well. But you know, I used to have to use the TV as a monitor because the laptop hinge was broken, so I couldn't use it as a laptop anymore. So that's why I kind of did this whole weird setup that I do that no one else really does. But that laptop, I overclocked it. And that still kept up. Really, like, it struggled, but it did. It kept up with an 880 NM fucking GTX graphics card and a 3rd generation i7. And I could still keep up with a lot of game titles and stuff like that to an extent. It was serious limitations, but I did keep up. I had the fucking fan curve, like, max full belt continuously. I had fans pointing in all the vents to cool it down. I resupplied thermal paste. I fucking swapped out the internals with fucking solid state everything, and I fucking went to town on that laptop. It was a real Frankenstein thing, but you know, it lasted me for years. And then it got to the stage where I couldn't play any games. The frame rates were so terrible. I was getting like 10 frames in a lot of games, and it was just really showing its age. So I retired it, and then Ray upgraded to a desktop, so she didn't need her gaming laptop anymore. So she was kind enough to let me keep her laptop because she wasn't using it anymore. And so I've turned her laptop into my workstation. But the problem is, you know, she used it for uni and she used it for Twitch streaming and all this other stuff. And, you know, the shed would get really, really fucking hot as well. So that's what's wrong with the laptop is basically it's Dell, which is a shit product. And 2, it was always in a hot environment. So it's basically been cooked. And so that's why it's nowhere near as good as, say, when it was brand new. And then obviously game titles are so much more intensive for when it came out. But, you know, it certainly got its money's worth out of it.
You had it like, what, forever?
Yeah, it's quite a few years old. Ray got it when she first started uni, and she's graduated uni and all that stuff. So I'm going to be using it until I build this PC, which is going to take me some time. And then once I build the PC, I'm going to, I am enjoying it.
You should absolutely enjoy it. Building PCs are a lot of fun. You should absolutely enjoy it.
You know, I built my mum's PC, and I love that thing. That thing's awesome. That's the reason why I fell in love with the O11 Dynamic Evo case. Because of that PC. Yeah, it's just, honestly, dude, it's an expensive case, but it's worth every fucking cent. It's so fucking easy to build in. It's just an aesthetically pleasing computer as well. And there's a lot of thought process that Lee and Lee put into it. And the XL, like, they didn't just copy and paste the Evo Dynamic and just made it bigger. Like they innovated this thing. Like it's everything that was negative on the 11 dynamic, they removed and changed on the XL to the point that the XL is by far probably the most perfect PC case you can get on the market.
Huh.
The only one little bit of a negative on it is power supply length. You are limited. However, I'm talking about like the big basses, like the power supplies that are like, 1500, like the 1500 watt ones, the big long ones, that generally don't fit in any PC case anyway. Like, I got the power supply. So my last box that I just got of goodies, is a RMX 1000 watt power supply. Corsair, because I like Corsair power supplies. I think they're top of the range power supply. This power supply that I got, it's got 10-year warranty, which is excellent. And I got M.2 4th generation 980 Samsung NVMe drive, which will become my game drive.
Yeah.
Because what I'm going to do is when I build the new computer, the laptop hard drive that's running this computer, the Corsair 1 terabyte 4th gen NVMe, I'm going to copy all the data off it, obviously, because I don't want to lose any of that data. And I'll put it on like a portable hard drive. Then I'll completely wipe it, and I'm going to have that as my new boot drive. So Windows 11 will run on the hard drive that's in this computer right now, and it will go on the new computer. And then I'll plug in the second NVMe drive. I will fix the old hard drive that came out of that laptop. I'll fix the controller and whatnot. And I'll have that as a video editing NVMe drive in the other computer. And then I'm going to have some hard drives and stuff like that as well for storage. So I'll get like a full terabyte spinning disk drive, and because it has hot swappable bays and whatnot. So I might end up running 2 NVMEs and 2 to 3 maybe. Probably just 2 to be honest. And then I'll have hard drives and probably an SSD for video editing. So what I'll do is I'll have it set up where you got your boot drive, which only has programs on it. The game drive will have Steam on it and the Steam files and all other games and stuff like that that I download and install on. Then I'll have a long-term video storage drive, which will have the archive of all the videos I've edited and all the raw footage from streaming and et cetera, et cetera. And then I'll have a video editing drive, which will be an SSD. And what I'll do is, say, for example, when I download the VOD, I would download it to my spinning disk drive, or actually, no, I'll download it directly to the SSD. I'll then edit the video and do everything on the SSD. When the video is rendered and all that, I'll move all that data across to long-term storage in a file for that one video dedicated. And then I'll bring everything from that video. The reason for doing that is if I edit on the SSD, it's significantly faster and more efficient than if I do it on a spinning disk, and I only use a spinning disk for long-term storage. So that's my plan. It's going to have a workflow.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think it'll work really well. That's why I got the XLs, because the XL allows me to really upscale my video. Because I would love to do like a highlight video on YouTube of what we're doing right now and have snippets. But on this computer, I just can't do it. I can't like merge 3 videos that are 2 hours long each and then cut them and layer them and edit them the way I want to. Because I have to do simple edits on this computer. I can't layer things as easily. My Phasmophobia videos used to really, really take its time. Because I have music files, I have GIFs, I have all sorts of weird shit in the background that doesn't look like I'm editing much, but I actually was. And it just, that's why I stopped doing it. It was so much work, and the computer would crash half the time, and so I stopped doing that. Yeah.
Um, can I tell you about yesterday?
Yeah, go for it.
So yesterday was the best day ever,
Ooh.
right? So I I was on break from work.
Yeah.
And so I decided to go for a little bit of walk after I'd finished my lunch because I still had some time left over.
Yeah.
And I found the comic book and manga store shop, and right next to it, I found the record shop or the
Ooh.
CD shop, shall we say, as well. So the manga, and I'm just going to call it the manga shop because I don't want comic books, I want manga. Had a huge array of various manga, and I'll be keeping where it is in mind. So that way, if you and Ray ever come to where I am, we can go down and check it out,
I'd
as
love
well
to.
as the CD shop. So at the CD shop, what made yesterday even better was that I found a record from a band that I absolutely adore, called Every Time I Die. Highly recommend. It's their last album they made
Yeah.
before they split up for various reasons I'm not entirely sure of. But is an album called Radical by Every Time I Die. I bought it, and then I listened to it on the way home, and I'm telling you right now, one of the greatest albums ever made, because I listened to every single song. I thought every single one of these songs is necessary on this album. It is so much fun to listen to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my favorite song off that album see, even that's really tricky because now I'm thinking about it. For now I'm gonna say People Versus. That
Yeah.
is an incredible song from that album. It's ironic because it sounds really pessimistic because of the
Yeah.
tone, but if you listen to the lyrics, it's actually incredibly inspirational and hopeful sounding, and I really, really like it a lot. I highly recommend you go listen to it on YouTube if you get the chance. Radical by Every Time I Die, and I just absorb the energy that they exude and just excrete out of their existence.
I'll have to look that up. Definitely after this, I reckon.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
what's it? And I'm just curious. You were asking me about any games that I was looking forward
Yeah.
to as of recent, but I want to ask you: is there any albums or any music things that you're really, really looking forward to coming up?
I don't follow music as much as I used to, man. I used to a long time ago, but these days I don't follow anyone anymore.
Oh, okay,
I'm at a point in life as well that I can't enjoy a single genre or anything. So I just made like a massive playlist of just everything and anything, and I just skip until I find a song that I can bear. And I don't know, I'm in a weird point in my
we can
life where
bear.
I can't really um
Not a
be
big fan of
happy.
music, are you?
It's not that I'm not a big fan of music. I love music. I love, like, this morning I had music blaring just in the background so I can basically hang my washing and stuff like that to like music. But
Yeah,
I just couldn't get into it. I don't know. There's something going on at the moment. I feel fussy, I guess you could say. It's really
fussy.
weird.
What do you mean by?
I don't know, man. It's hard to explain. It's like nothing is really. I'm not really enjoying one thing easily anymore. Like I'll like that song one day, and the next day I don't want to hear it again. Like it's fucking weird.
That is peculiar.
Yeah, I don't know why it's been like that, but it just is. But
Well, I hope that
yeah.
changes soon because doesn't sound like a great way to exist.
No, it's not the. It's really annoying. It is really, really annoying. I don't know why it's like that, but yeah. Oh well, shit happens.
Well, not necessarily. Well, I hope things turn around. Because I can't live without music. I'm always
Yeah.
listening to music whenever I'm literally if I'm not at work or actually I probably would be listening to music when I'm asleep.
Yeah.
But if I've every waking moment I'm listening to music because I
Yeah.
just cannot live without it.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. But yeah, I don't know. Like lately, I've been listening to a lot of EDM and stuff like that, which normally I don't listen to that.
Mm.
And sometimes I'll listen to heavy metal. And sometimes I'll listen to pop. But yeah, I don't know. Just I used to only listen for like a few years ago. I used to just listen to pretty much old classics all the time. You know, like 80s and 90s musics.
Yeah, of course.
70s and 60s, but now I just listen to basically anything really. But yeah, I don't know. It's just really weird. Sort of
Well,
very indecisive, I should say.
well, I think this year I'm going to go to a music festival called Good Things.
Oh yeah.
And at first I thought like, I was umming and ahhing about going it, but I found out a coworker was going, so I thought, yep, no, I've got to go. I've got to go now. So I am going to go to Good Things this year, and it's going to be a great time. I'm going to
Yeah.
be looking very forward to it. A whole bunch. Actually, fun fact: someone I went to university is actually playing a gig there, which is really exciting.
That is cool. Yeah.
I never really learnt. I never really met them personally, but
You just know of them, sort of thing.
yeah, they were in my class at university. I'm very excited to see them on stage because they absolutely deserve it.
I went to school with someone whose band was pretty famous.
Oh yeah,
They were a year above me. I knew same thing. Like I knew them enough to like say hi,
yeah.
whatnot. But like they were pretty world renowned. They disbanded a few years ago now, though.
No, that's unfortunate.
Like they very successful. Like they would open for like Wolf Mother and
Oh wow.
Slipknot and quite a few other bands. Yeah, they were pretty big. Probably one of Australia's most recognized heavy metal bands, I would say. But yeah, they ended up, disbanding and whatnot. I don't know if he still plays or anything. I haven't spoken to our mutual friend in a while. But yeah, he was a really good bloke. I never heard anything negative of him, and whenever the very small interactions I had with him, it was always very positive. He probably doesn't even remember me, which
It's probably got a lot going on.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like a lot of people, like it's funny like that in life, where like you come across people and like you remember them and everything about them and whatnot, but like they have no fucking idea who you are. Actually, sometimes I get a little offended though because like. Yeah, I've had people where like I would talk to them for like years, and back in the day, and then you come across them, and you're like, "Hey, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a while." They're like, "Who are you?" It's like, okay, this is a little bit different. This isn't like me and you met in passing or anything like that, and then you don't remember me, but I remember you. Fair enough, but like we used to hang out. We used to like be good friends, and all of a sudden you don't remember who I am. I think you need to see a doctor. There's something wrong with your memory because that ain't good. Because
Sometimes that happens.
I don't know. Like I can understand in primary school or something like that, but like when you're like after high school and you've hung out with that person for 2 years and you're like good friends with them, like just friends, nothing more than that. But like used to always see each other, whatnot, through mutual friends and always go to the same parties and stuff. And all of a sudden they don't remember you. It's a bit weird. I don't know whether they're like pretending they don't remember me because I don't know, they're embarrassed for some reason, which I don't know why they would be because the last interaction I remembered with them was positive. It wasn't like negative at all. Or they generally don't remember. I don't know, but they definitely should. If they generally don't remember, they definitely should talk to a doctor about that because that ain't good. But yeah. It's funny that when you walk down the street and someone comes up to you or you go up to someone, you're like, "Hey, how's it going?" They're like, "Huh?" Who are you? Or you're that to that person to them? It's funny.
Yeah, I suppose so. It is. Yeah.
Do you get that often or not really?
No, not really.
No. Suppose you don't.
I'm. What you gonna say? Sorry.
I was gonna say, you suppose you don't really hang out with many school friends anymore, do you?
Well, not a lot of them. I got to a certain point where, and I learnt this phrase a little while ago, but I've, as time has progressed, I've really understood how valuable it is. Is that you don't need a certain number of friends. You just need a number of friends that you're certain of.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, I've actually, if anything, as I've gotten older, the all the friends that I sort of lost contact with, that I was good friends with, I've sort of looked at it and thought, you know what, I'm actually kind of glad that we were friends, and now you're gone. Like, now we're not friends anymore. But in a weird way, I'm actually grateful for that because, um, because I can remember you as a good friend, but now, sorry, now you and I probably wouldn't get along because we've changed so much,
Yeah.
and so I'm really glad we don't taint the friendship that we had, many years ago. I'm glad I can hold on to that memory as something of value and not degrade it because I need a certain number of friends. Like, no, I don't need a certain number of friends. It's like, I don't need you as my friend. I need that person as my friend because we're just getting along a little bit better, or because we can actually work towards something that's of value, and that's basically my big vision as of right now, is working and aiming towards things that are of value.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like, I've kind of, over the years, I've kind of cut a lot of people out of my life. Um, so as I got older, I realized that I was, when you come to friendships and even relationships, if you're the one that makes the initial contact every time, there's something wrong there.
I do know that.
And I was always the one to initiate conversations. I was the one to try and organize meetups with the group of people. I was the one that was investing the time and the effort, and I was getting much in back. And then when I would hang out with them, I would always be talked over the top of. Uh, People would roll their eyes at me, and I realized that they weren't really true friends. So I just stopped talking to them. I didn't tell them why or anything. And if they were to reach out and say hi, I would say hi back, and be, respectful and whatnot. But I just not interested in investing time in people that won't put the same effort to me. And a few years ago, me and Ray, caught up with some friends, and my friends, and one group of the people I have absolute respect for, and I would always, like, have a chat, say hi. I don't talk to them much anymore because same thing, like, I found that I was always one in initiating the conversation. So now I just sort of, we talk in passing, and that's it. It's good. I don't have a problem with that. Like, I don't mind catching up once in a blue moon and having a good yarn. There's nothing negative, nothing bad, no work, no issues. Great. But another group of friends, I felt when I hung out, they're just fucking changed for negative. Incredibly judgmental, and I felt like they were looking down on me continuously, especially when, telling your life decisions and stuff like that. And, you say something positive about your life, and they'll say that, there's better. And that really fucking rubbed me the wrong way. So I've just got no time for those sorts of people anymore. When you get older, I'm sure people watching can relate to this. You don't have time for people. You don't have time for high school bullshit or anything like that. And that's why quality over quantity is way better. Hey, Spliffy.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with having a friend that you see once in a blue moon, and when you catch up, it's like nothing's changed. That's really positive, actually, because it's not a negative or a stressful friendship. But if you ever feel that you have a friend that sort of drains you, then you got to be honest with yourself. Really, is it worth continuing being in a friendship with them? Same relationships as well. But yeah, life's funny like that, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It can be a lot of fun.
can be. Yeah,
If you allow it to be fun, it will be fun.
yeah. I've had a lot of interesting memories. I've lived a very full life.
Oh, it's not over yet. Don't say that now.
Yeah, but if I was to say die tomorrow, like I think that I have lived a very full life. That I would be, like I have made so many memories and stuff like that. Like, it's not the end of the world. So yeah, and it really wouldn't be the end of the world if I was to die. So it would be for the people immediately to me that'd be upset, and whatever. But me personally, it wouldn't be the end of the world because I'd be dead, and the rest of the world wouldn't even know. But yeah, just how it is. Nothing negative about it. It's just life.
Yeah.
By the way, these are good. You should try these. Really bad.
What
for
are
you,
they?
but I
What?
don't care. It's passion mothers. It's basically passion fruit mother, but tastes so much better than the Grava original one. I really like it.
I don't. I tend to stay the hell away from energy drinks.
Oh, it's so poisonous. I love it. See, I give up alcohol, but I still drink that shit.
Oh, alcohol. I don't think alcohol is much worse than whatever the hell they put in that stuff.
What did they put in it? Actually, I don't know.
Death, liquid death. I wouldn't drink it.
Caffeine.
Well, that stands to reason.
Night can vitamin B, but vitamin B3.
Is that riboflavin? Riboflavin. Vitamin B3. I'm good. I'm curious.
C and nicotine.
Vitamin B3.
Vitamin B12. Taurine. Instrol.
Niacin. Oh god. Okay, we're gonna have a funny moment where I can't say a word. Niacinamide. I think that's what it. Niacinamide. I think is what it's called.
Got on it. Yeah.
Niacinamide. Apparently, it's good for your skin. How peculiar.
Actually, what's really weird is this doesn't actually have that much bad things in it.
Don't say that. Don't say that energy drinks are good for you.
I mean, they're not because of the caffeine and the sugar quantity, but in terms of the other things that got on it, there's nothing that's gonna really. It's just the caffeine and sugar levels. That's literally the only. Everything else is not bad. You got Instrol, taurine. Both of those are components used in. They use them in a lot of pre-workouts and stuff like that. Like, this is an adult drink. Kids shouldn't drink this shit. Vitamin B12, vitamin B6. Yeah. Pentothenic acid, which is used as a stabilizing agent. It's just basically a artificial equivalent of fucking. What's the acid that's a byproduct of fructose?
Fructose?
Yeah, it's nitric acid.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's nitric acid. It's it's the main common acid that you get in fruits and shit like that, like lemons and stuff like that. It's basically like that, but a little bit more potent, I think. Yeah. Oh, this still has citric acid in it. So why would they have citric acid and then they also have phenolic acid? It doesn't make sense. Unless the phenolic acid is the citric acid. I don't know. But it has less sugar than fucking Coke, which is funny. Still a lot. 67.5 grams of sugar, which is a shitload. And then it's got... What's its caffeine? See, caffeine's the problem. 152 milligrams of caffeine in just one can. Mixed with fucking 67.5 grams of sugar. It's a lot. That's why if you have too many of these, it gives you the runs. All that caffeine.
Yeah, caffeine does have a laxative effect.
It does.
I'm very well aware of that.
That's why I can only drink coffees and stuff on the weekends. But yeah, so funny that. You know what? I would really love to be able to like have a commercial pilot license
We'll go get it.
and fly people to island along the Great
We'll
Australian Bight. That'd be
go
so
get it.
fun.
Yeah, we'll go get your license.
No.
Why not?
I can't afford it. It's so
Well,
expensive.
Go get the money to go earn the money to.
It's thousands,
I mean, I guess.
it's thousands and thousands of dollars. The only people I know that have been able to get their licenses is because they were wealthy.
Well, go get wealthy and then go get a license.
You have to get wealthy first. Yeah.
Well, there's your next goal. Go do it.
Go do it. Just do it.
Yeah,
no excuses.
exactly.
Just do it.
Have you ever seen the movie A Perfect World directed by Clint Eastwood?
I've been wanting to see that movie for a long time, eh?
It's one of those few movies that I really want, but when I watched it, it literally changed my perspective on life.
Oh, really?
And oh hell yeah, absolutely. So there's this one scene. So the synopsis, the buple of that movie is essentially this kid gets kidnapped by a couple of fugitives that escape prison.
Yeah.
One of them is a little bit too touchy-feely, so the other fugitive literally kills his friend who he escaped prison with. And then he's like, he looks at the kid, he's like, well, you're going to starve out here, so you may as well just come with me anyway.
Yeah.
So what essentially happened is that this kid was like, this fugitive just became like a parent to this kid for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And this kid was getting lessons about like, hey man, if you just want something alive, just take it. And there's this one scene in particular which I will never forget until the day I die, which is there's this board game that this kid wants, but he doesn't have the money for it. And the fugitive just looks at him and says, if you want it, just take it.
Yeah.
And which is that particular scene completely changed my life because it made me think that, yeah, if you want something, just take it. Like there's nothing wrong with going after something.
Yeah,
and achieving goal oriented. Of course, don't actually steal. Yeah. But like it's one of those realizations of like, oh crap, it's up. If I want something, I just have to go get it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if there's any impedance that comes after that is literally just me. So the question then comes is, do I really want it, or is it something that I think I want but I really don't actually? Yeah, no worries. Take your time. And that was one movie that just absolutely changed my life for the better in terms of like how I thought about life. Another movie that is, I wouldn't say in the similar sort of light, but one movie I really, really enjoyed and actually have a copy of and will never get rid of is Stranger Than Fiction, starring Will Ferrell. And honestly, 100% his best film that he will probably ever be in. He just did such a fantastic job playing the character of Harold Crick. And the moral of that story, not too dissimilar from A Perfect World, the moral of the story of Stranger Than Fiction is do something differently. Just do something, get out of the monotony of life and do something differently, because you're just wasting your life other way. There's life, you're surrounded by life and you're ignoring all of it because what you've got right now is this nice little schedule that you jump at and you stick with the schedule, and as a result you reject the life that surrounds you, and it's depressing. And I love that movie because of how optimistic the message is of just go out and do something differently, strike out, do something differently, have some fun with it, see what kind of trouble you can't get yourself into. Highly recommend that movie, Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah.
and it's so good.
That sounds pretty interesting. So I had to get up. There was music playing loud in the background, and I had to quickly run up and get it turned down because it would copyright strike me. So,
Which is all the more fun.
oh yeah. So that's why I quickly fucking shut that down. That's all right. Only 25 minutes to go, and then it can go back up. But just until we're finished. There's one thing when I build a house and I make a studio room, I'm going to spend a little extra money on the insulation so it's soundproofing.
Well, you'll be basically paying for 2 houses, essentially.
No, it's not that expensive, man.
No, it is.
How expensive is it over there?
But to build a house,
Not to build a house, to soundproofing insulation. It's usually like R7 is usually when you start getting up to soundproofing.
well, it's not just. You don't have to. You have to mechanically dislocate. You essentially have to build a room within a room to mechanically dislocate the sound of the coming from the outside, impeding to stop the sound from the outside into the
correct
inside.
on that. There are other ways to do it that are more cost effective without doing that. What you can do is you get R7 installation, which is usually like $120 a bat, which is a lot. But if you're doing like a small room, like a normal, say, bedroom, like a small bedroom, it's actually not that expensive because you'd probably, I reckon 4 bags. You could probably do a whole room. And then with the doors, you just get solid wood doors. You get door seals, rubber door seals, like drop down door seals. Because that will block the air entering and exiting. And then your windows just basically get a thicker frame aluminium window. And glass is pretty good at sound denting anyway. And then just
For low frequencies, yes. For high frequencies, no.
Yeah, but when it turns to music and stuff like that, you're not really going to get high frequencies leaking that much.
You're going to get a lot of mid frequencies.
Yeah, mid frequencies, which the glass will do a pretty good job at denting that sound, I think.
No.
Yeah, and then you put curtains and stuff in front of it, and it'll do a lot better job.
I mean, how soundproof do you want this to be?
This isn't going to be 100% proof. This is going to be enough that you can have. Basically, if you're sitting here right now, and I've got my mic set up, and I've got all my settings set up on the mic, essentially, you're not going to hear any external noises in the mic. Essentially, that's the soundproofing you would need. Obviously, if you're doing audio recording like what you do, then yeah, I would probably do the full extent room within a room and all that sort of shit. Disconnect it mechanically, then you can really soundproof it. Get those fucking triangular foam things that point into you. That
No, that doesn't stop anything from the outside coming in. That just stops the inside going crazy.
Yeah, it's true. It stabilizes everything and whatnot. But yeah, it would be kind of cool to have like a proper studio.
I'd love to have a proper studio.
Yeah, it would be cool. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be possible to do it like that, but it's just something to think about. Because obviously, I got to think of like it would be 2 like studios essentially with Ray himself, and yeah, so it would have to be some logical thing. But yeah, I would love to have a basement. Why in Australia do we not have basements?
Because we don't have hurricanes. Well, not hurricanes, tornadoes.
Because, like, when you think about it, Australia is a really great place to have a basement because the ground is very stable. We don't have... we do have flooding issues, I suppose, every now and then.
It's not really the point. Just because you have really nice ground doesn't mean you need a basement.
Yeah, but basements are just, like, really good for, like, storage solutions, utilizing space better, because that's the one thing with Australia. is, by the way, can you hear that knocking?
Not over the sound of your voice.
That's good. That means that the mic's working like it's supposed to be. Anyway, yeah, it's just like really handy because the thing, we don't have attics in Australia, or yeah, we have like basically no roof storage essentially, and we don't have any basement storage. So usually storage is reserved in sheds and spare rooms that no one uses essentially, or carports if people have them. But yeah, it doesn't logically, it doesn't make sense why we don't have basements, because I think basements are so fucking useful in terms of just storage alone. Like keeping all the stuff like Christmas decorations and stuff like that, long-term storage, stuff that you only get out once a year, you know? Like maybe you keep all your dining set stuff downstairs, you know, you keep all your quilt covers and stuff like that, that, you know, you change over because a lot of people have multiple bedding sets and stuff like that, so they can keep things in rotation, you know, like take one bed sheets off and whatnot and then put another bed sheet on and then have the used one in the wash, and then when that's washed and dried you put it in storage somewhere for when you change it again, you know, things like that. I just think it would be really useful. And if you want a home gym, you have all the room in the world in a basement. It'd be hard to get downstairs, but but people in America do it all the time, so I'm pretty sure you'll be fine. Yeah, I just never really understood that.
Yeah, the Americans can do it, so why can't you?
Yeah, of course, because we're better in every way.
What a line of logic!
We're better in every way. I'll start a fight on that one. Are you got any new microphones on the prow?
I'm always looking for new microphones.
Yeah.
I one thing I've been sort of interested in is like microphone, because you can get drum kit microphones. So it's like 7 microphones for like $1,000, and you look at all the microphones that are in there, and you think like, oh, that actually would sound like a really cool microphone.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that's come down. The SM57, I think, has actually come down in price. It used to be a bit more expensive, which is really cool. But my favorite microphone for that sort of application is the right here is the the Lewitt MTP 250 DM. That microphone I think is better than an SM57, because it just has a little bit more presence and a little bit more top end than the SM57, which I think is much better for clarity.
Okay.
And I just I find that to be much more nicer to listen to, essentially, because the SM57 has because the SM57 has only a transformer inside of it. It has the exact same frequency response as a transformer.
Yeah.
And what's it? And as a result, that's where it actually gets its mid-range boost naturally from this transformer resonance.
Yeah.
And
you're really drained at the moment, aren't you?
I'm not necessarily drained. I'm just sort of looking at a list of microphones and thinking like, oh, I remember looking at that last week and thinking that actually looks really, really cool.
Okay.
I think I might get that.
Send me the link and I'll put it up so the audience can see what you're talking about.
There was actually this one that I saw. It looks like it's like a new generation, the SM7. That one, SM7DB. Hang on.
Oop. Click the wrong button.
All right. This one. Okay, so. Oops.
I'll get it up so that way people can see.
Yep. So this looks like it's the new generation of SM7, which is the voiceover microphone that everyone uses.
That
this
is,
one,
that is like the one that
is
So Shaw is like that good, eh?
Oh yeah, Shaw. Like I remember, Shaw made a video of them throwing an SM57 out of a helicopter about 500 meters above the ground. They plugged it in, and it still worked.
Because they're not a dynamic; they're a cardioid, aren't they?
No, so those are a dynamic. They're a that one is actually both. It's a cardioid dynamic microphone that you're looking at right now. Actually has a few more. Oh, it actually
two different windbreakers on them.
Oh, just one has more fluff in it, which means it's better at essentially. It's a pop. Those are pop filters.
Yeah,
and so that's essentially I've actually got one on my current microphone. So that's to prevent plosives, like
yeah.
That's so it gets rid of those plosives, and so it doesn't sound quite so bad and awful. This SM7DB, I'm curious. I'm curious to know whether it is XLR microphone. I wonder if it's XLR and USB, which is something that I'd be very, very interested in learning about. Highly effective pop filter eliminates need for any add-on protective against plosives, or heavy breathing. A classic cardioid polar pattern uniform, which is this is very, very, very normal, very natural for a cardioid, very natural for a dynamic microphone, because they've only got the one diaphragm which faces you, and then as you go off axis, you'll actually lose a little bit of those higher frequencies, and leading more into a more mid-range toned sounding microphone. So I'll just sort of demonstrate with the microphone I've got right now, which sort of I'm just tilting it to the side. You get this off-axis coloration, which certain microphones are better at it, and then by the time you get to the back of it, it won't pick up my voice. It'll pick up all the reflections of the furniture that's in front of me.
Oh yeah,
and that's pretty much what that sounds like. And flat wide range frequency response for exceptionally clean. That's a weird way of wording that. So basically the way that the audio spectrum works is this is basically what's written down in science. You can have a little bit more or a little bit less, or a little bit higher or a little bit lower. So you have 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. That's essentially the audio spectrum that the human ear can perceive.
Okay.
So in the middle, around between, it's about 3K is where our voice resonates the most. It's also where our ears are most sensitive as well. It's really cool. So we resonate our vocals, which when we pick up from our ears, almost as if it were an amplifier of itself.
Yeah.
And second preamp. Oh, how peculiar. Okay, so there's a switch on the back of it which acts the same way as a cloud lifter. So do you remember when, was it Goose? Yeah, I think it was Goose who were asking us about trying to get the SM7B to sound more clear or sound, louder.
Yeah.
So that's the solution they've come up with, which is a selectable preamp boost of either positive 8 dB or positive 28 dB. So it's a 10 dB boost.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, it's either of those are two exclusive ones. And so what that essentially means is you've got two variations of what you would have a cloud lifter. And which will give you that what you've wanted with the SM7B. So this is basically SM7C, if to put things just out there.
Yeah.
a preamp bypass switch deactivates preamp or to revert to original SM7B performance. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this is literally, if anyone is actually trying to get more sound out of their SM7B with a cloud lifter, now you don't need to spend $200 on a cloud lifter. You just spend an extra $100 on this microphone, and that'll fix all your problems.
Yeah, because I would like to have something like that in the future, with an audio interface and whatnot, so then I would have better control. Because I'd like to be able to actually control the gates and stuff like that analog, through analog dials rather than software. Because as I have issues with this thing's really powerful and really good for what it is.
Yeah.
But because it relies on software, every time you start a computer up, it's unreliable.
Yeah, which I don't like.
Which I don't like either. I don't like either, but I don't have the luxury of having audio interfaces on. Like, my desk is that big.
I mean, just get like a little.
Like, it's my shoulders width. My desk is the shoulders width of my desk. I just have no room whatsoever to have one. I could mount it to the legs of the table, but I think I'll run into the issues of running out of my USB bus on the computer anyway. When I upgrade the computer, I could probably get away with doing it because the ATX motherboard would be able to have a lot more components plugged in than, say, a laptop in terms of just raw power. But yeah, that's the problem. I run so this is good. This is good for now.
So that I've just sent you a link to an audio interface, which would it's probably the right physical size for you, and it would do everything you needed it to.
Yeah, I know that one. I was looking at getting them ages ago, but I ran an audio interface because I got like a cheap shit fucking one that I had with my
that Behringer
thing.
The Behringer Euphoria.
Yeah. It was crap, but I was running into all sorts of issues because it demands a lot of power. The computer just kept crashing. USB devices would just disconnect and whatnot. So that's something that I will have to look into when I get my desktop set up. The problem is
later for sure.
These are really expensive though. But when you buy them, it's sort of like a one-off purchase. Like, you have them forever.
Yeah, easily.
They last a very long time. But that is a really good brand. I would recommend that. Everyone I know that does audio has that brand, including yourself.
I do too. Yeah. I've got a Focusrite Scarlett 6i6 Generation
you got the
2.
big fucker that's in your rack, don't you?
No, I don't have anything in my rack. I'd love an RME. An RME would just be that would be my one. Like, once I have that one, I'm done. But I have to be very careful because there's multiple different RME units that all do a very specific thing. I need to make sure I need to buy the very specific one. Yeah. Otherwise, I just probably spend about $5,000 on nothing.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Something that doesn't even. RME is extremely expensive, but they are definitely worth it. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about RME.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Well, anyways, everybody, that comes to a close to our Twitch stream, our podcast. So, it was an interesting one, that's for sure. I'm definitely going to have to cut things out, I think, when I upload it to YouTube and stuff like that, to make things not so awkward. But I will hope you all have a good day and night, depending where you are in the world. We're going to raid into someone I've never raided into before, but I find their stuff a little bit interesting.
DCD Collects. What's that? Who's that?
Ooh. Let's give that person a go.
DCD Collects.
I can't copy and paste. It's just having issues. There we go. Now I can. Let's have a look at DCD. I was looking at Teresa Cream Dingo, but
I love his mustache.
Wait, what? He's got a mustache?
He's got a mustache. Ooh. He's got a hell of a mustache at that.
Let's have a look. Yeah, all right. Why not? Let's do it. Let's go and visit someone that we've never gone into before. All right, cool. So we're going to go and raid into that person.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. But yeah, catch us all later on the fly, and we'll see you next time.